A lot of people have been feeling really scared and uncertain right now. And if that's you, I want to ask you, when was the last time you hugged a tree? And before you start to tell me, Sarah, that's just some hippy dippy shit, let me say, there is a sort of steadiness and a sort of presence that comes from being outside in nature that can really bring a sense of calmness and steadiness to your own life. Take, for example, how the tree is here rooted into the ground. It's not going anywhere. And things all around the tree might happen. It might become cloudy all of a sudden. The wind might blow a little bit more stronger. There might even be a fire that comes by. But this tree, it cannot move, so it has learned how to become very, very steady. And not only has it learned how to become steady, it's intricately tied to the rhythms and cycles of nature that I think a lot of modern humans have lost. So y'all remember right before 2020 when there was this large thing that was happening in the world and we did not know what was going to happen in the States. We just knew that overseas they were experiencing some sort of intense illness going through. Not to go into the specifics, but it was kind of scary, right? All that uncertainty and like, what if this is the end? Like, what if the worst happens? It's so easy to start going into that mindset and to do everything you can to protect yourself. And it was right at the beginning of this, I decided to go for a run to kind of clear my mind because it's hard to be scared. It's not a fun state to be in. So I went on my run and I decided to run up a hillside I don't normally go on. And as I'm running up this hillside, about halfway, I just get the sense to stop and look out at the surrounding landscape around me. And I could see the town below me. I could see all the trees. I had such a perspective from far away. And then the wind blew. And it blew just like it always blows, but it was a way that I heard, and it said, not in words, but it gave me this feeling that change is always happening. You cannot control change, but change can be good, and everything is going to be okay with this change. And as simple as that sounds, I continued to live my life through 2020, 2021, even today, feeling the steadiness in my life, and that no matter what happens around me, that I can always come back to nature, to come back to feel grounded and steadiness. You know that quote that says, everything gets done in nature and yet nothing is rushed? Is something that I like to remind myself of when I'm starting to feel all scattered and in my mind, and all of this coming from just being in a built environment, being in a culture that isn't tied to nature. When I am outside in nature, just here with my 2 feet on the ground, breathing the fresh air, I start to remember the rhythms that are all around us and the steadiness that arises just from being in tune to the rhythms. So even something as simple as everybody knows the sun rises in the morning. No matter what happens during your day, the sun will always come up and it will always rise. And I know that sounds really simple, and hugging a tree might sound really simple too. But it is these simple acts of coming back to the natural rhythms that can bring the steadiness in our lives. Even a simple rhythm that everyone can tap into is the weather. We know that in the winter time, if you're in the northern hemisphere, it starts to get cooler and the plants stop growing and they start storing their energy into their roots to hold them over winter as it gets cold. And we all know that we go through winter, and if we move through winter, then we will arrive in spring when the daylight starts to get longer, when the weather starts to warm up. And we know for a fact that we're going to start to see plants emerge out of the soil again, green new growth. We know that. And That steadiness can and take us through different seasons of our own life and can help bring us stability when we really need it. Oh, here. And if you still don't believe me that nature has so much peace to offer us, then take, for example, you spend 30 minutes outside, like just 30 minutes, and then you come back into your house, you come back indoors, and what do you feel? Do you feel the same franticness as you did when you started being outside? Or do you feel a sense of calmness and a sense of almost like connectedness? That there is something bigger to life than just you and this culture, that there is something that has been here for a very long time and will continue to be here for a very long time. No matter how much humans try to change or alter nature, like nature will always be here for us and welcomes us home when we take the time to come back, to just simply be outside. So if you're feeling inspired to where you're like, okay, yeah, I want to go outside now. I want to go hug a tree. When you're outside experiencing nature, it's okay to leave your phone at home or like turn on airplane mode. It's okay to take your shoes off. It's even okay to not know what the heck you're doing out there. The goal of just being outside is literally to just be outside, and just that simple act. I know it sounds so simple. That may offer you some ideas of just how to get outside. Basically, like just going for walks is how I like to get outside and to find that peace and steadiness in my life. So yes, I love to hug trees. And when I hug it, I love to hug trees. I really do. Because trees just have this presence to them, and you can tell them whatever you want. Like, if I'm having a bad day and I go hug a tree and I'm like, tree, I just need to tell you something, they'll listen, and it just feels so reassuring to have someone who, it's almost like they get it, or they're just compassionate to listen. Plants are great ways to connect to the rhythms of nature, especially growing them even in a flower pot. If you go to a local nursery and just pick out the most beautiful flowers you can find and plant them in a pot outside of your front door is a great way to tap into the rhythms of nature, steadiness in your life, but also to recognize that change does happen and can actually be a really good thing. If I'm feeling particularly lazy or tired, or just feel like a nap, and you might already be feeling tired and you just lay down on the ground, whether that's inside a tent, like if you were to go camping, or if that's just while you're on a hike, you lay down, or even if you take a blanket, like a picnic blanket, to the local park and sit down under a tree and have a picnic and lay down afterwards. And especially if you start to watch some tree branches sway over you, they're like so hypnotic. And you just gotta do that for like 10 minutes, and then you get up off the ground, you go back to your place, and you just feel so much more relaxed. And those little things, like what you heard on the news or heard on social media, they bother you a little less, because what you've done is you've connected into something deeper and more real than anything that our culture can provide at this point in time, I should say. I'm really not trying to do a whole cultural analysis right now. I am merely making this video to hopefully inspire you to reconnect back to nature, to feel that steadiness in your own life, and to be surrounded by good things, and know that nature has you. No matter what's happening in your life or in your mind, nature totally has you and is ready to receive you. All you gotta do is go hug a tree, go for a walk, or take a nap outside. Before you go, if you're looking for even more inspiration on getting outside, then I would encourage you to check out my other video that's called something like I was overwhelmed until I went outside to garden. I'll link it in the description below.